And we are live. There we are. There we are. You are muted. Let me go ahead and unmute you guys. Okay, there you are.
Morning from Bali.
Hey, Danny.
Hello, David. Hello, Philippe. Good evening from Jacksonville, Florida. How are you guys doing?
Good, you?
Good.
Good, good. Better now. Awesome. So, I was telling some friends that I have a 9 p.m. Conversation with you guys, and they're like, you just never stop. I said, but it's Monday over there. I'm not fast enough. They got like 12 hours on me.
Monday morning. 9 a.m. Monday morning.
This is my caffeine preference of the night. So it might be a long night.
Wow.
Thank you guys for joining us.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so I was recapping how we had an interview just like this one last year, right around this time, right? And how we came about. So I'd like to share a little bit more of that story and then introduce you because there's always a backstory, right?
Cool.
So I was doing something last year. I was doing a summit, an online summit, and I figured, hey, I'm gonna call on some of the top players in different spaces. So obviously, you guys had been on my radar, and you guys accepted my invitation. I was like, oh, I was so grateful because you guys had just achieved, one of the statistics that are very, very interesting in our space, and we'll dive a little more into that. And I got to interview you, and you guys, you have a program that I became part of, and soon after that, I learned a lot of things in the process that I was applying, and now I get to interview you around the same time again, and now you get to share with us the part 2 of that interview, right? So we shared about your involvement with the KBB launch with Anthony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and Dean Graziosi in 2019, and your achievements. I don't want to take any spotlight from you. Tell us a little bit about the 2019 KBB and how it compares to what you guys just achieved in 2020, which you were able to repeat and improve for the second time.
Cool. Yeah, I think when they first launched in 2019, there was a lot of affiliates that basically Dean and Tony and Russell. So there was it was very much more of a closed affiliate group of people. So I think year one they had roughly 250,000 people sign up for the live webinar. 2020, they'd obviously had, I think it was around 20,000 members in the KBB community, and they opened up the affiliate to all of those as well. So there were a lot more affiliates this time around, but it wasn't the people like Jeff Walker, it wasn't the top-notch marketers. It was a lot of people that were just members of the KBB. So we pretty much set things up very similar to what we did year one, and the traffic year two was almost double. So there was around 450,000 signups, but a lot of them were cold. So year two was more challenging because we had more technical problems. Google Sheets crashed and burnt on us, Airtable crashed and burnt on us. So we ended up having to switch to MySQL databases for storing all the info. We improved the messenger opt-in rate purely because year two, Dean and Tony on the thank you page were really pushing people to get reminders in Messenger. As a matter of fact, they made a video that said, click on the Messenger link to join our private Facebook group and you'll get an instant bonus. So there were a lot more. I think it was almost, there was 160,000 Messenger subscribers year 2 compared to, so I think it was 100,000 more than year 1. However, the sales were, although they were more, it wasn't significantly, it wasn't double because the audience was a lot colder. So, I think after the fact, we got a message from Dean's team saying Tony wasn't on his A game on the actual live webinar. So they did an encore of it as well. So,
well, and even some people were asking in the chat, who's Tony Robbins? Like, okay.
Yeah, right. So it was definitely more of a challenge the second year. Although we improved on the sales year 2. It was definitely more technically challenging because we had a lot of issues again with Google Sheets crashing, Airtable crashing. Pretty much everything crashed at one point. ManyChat crashed at one point, Zapier crashed at one point, but we managed to hold it all together, and 3 million in 1 hour again. So 2 years consecutively, we hit the 3 million in 1 hour barrier, and I think this year we did 6.7 million.
Yeah,
and the Messenger page that they had was they had no intention of keeping this page. It was just for the launch. It was Tony and Dean live 27th Feb. So we were under instructions from Dean's team running up to the actual live itself is crash and burn it.
Okay.
We want just crash and burn because we're not going to use it again.
So it was kamikaze operation, like like send a message to everybody, like it was like 160. Although we to begin with, we segmented only, we sent a message only to people who had a wallet installed, because we noticed that 90% of the buyers had the wallet installed. So we wanted to make sure at least people who installed the mobile wallet pass would receive the We Are Live Now, because they were highly qualified. And then once those people had received their We Are Live, then we send everything to the remaining 100-ish or 90,000 remaining people, and that's where we were in a crash and burn operation, kamikaze situation.
Sure thing, and that had a lot to do with compliance and some of the new rules, which I wanna touch on that a little later. Isn't that right? Facebook has changed some things that makes us,
Well, it was just before the March 4th new rules, so we were okay about that. Obviously,
it was the limit, really, Danny. So it was the limit. Facebook, I think it's 3,000 per minute, Philippe, right? Messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was the limit. So although we had streamliners where we were sending them, so the reminders were going out 90 minutes, so an hour and a half before the live, but then literally 15 minutes before was when we just hit the ones that weren't in mobile wallet, hit the ones that were what we would consider to be less qualified.
Sure.
And that's when we crashed and burnt it, purely because we were going over the Facebook limits. You're sending too many messages all in one go.
Sure.
We're restricting, so they throttled
right
the amount of messages that we're allowed to send. So that's there was no issues with compliance because it was before the March 4th deadline.
Right. Okay.
It was just a question that we were sending too many messages all in one go. So that sort of 15 minutes before. So there was probably like 70,000-80,000 people that we were sending messages to, and that's when Facebook went throttle, sorry, timeout.
Yeah.
And that was really for the final countdown, so to speak, because up to that point, I was keeping adding streamliners, like new buckets of 10,000 people, because the traffic coming was just insane. And on the previous launch, on launch one, we had about up to 80,000 people of buckets in Zapier, and I had to pretty much double that. So as the traffic was coming, I was like, oh geez, I need to add more buckets as time passes. And but that was fine, because we were sending reminders gently, streamlined, like just under the 3,000 per minute threshold. So we were not getting flagged by Facebook. It was really the final push that was like send everything to everybody at the same time. And that's where we crashed the page. But basically, almost everybody got the message. So yeah. Facebook did a good job. And ManyChat as well.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate that that was within the plan. That was the strategy. You know, it was designed to be that way.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, I suggest specifically for big launches like that, is to never use your main business page, because you know, you never know what could happen. So for example, if you have a business ManyChat page where you have a lot of automation for your daily operations, I highly recommend, if you do a launch, do it on a separate Facebook page and a separate ManyChat page. Yeah. So you don't jeopardize your main business page. Otherwise, you could really hurt your business, and you can lose your main business page, which would be very harmful. So when you do a launch, I really encourage people to do that on a separate page, Facebook and ManyChat.
Yeah. And you know, during the conference in Austin, when ManyChat announced some of the updates in functionality, and everybody was just so excited because they had just released, you know, the SMS capabilities and email capabilities. I mean, it was a tremendous breakthrough for the entire chat marketing space. But people in your group, right? We had a sit down, right? I'm from New York, and you guys are familiar with sit downs, right? We had a sit down, so to speak, because you guys were very animated about warning us that with more power comes more responsibility. Isn't that right? And how we almost predicted collectively how a lot of overexcited marketers were going to go out there and we're going to spam people in all different channels. And we're seeing what the side effects of that. Isn't that right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think
that's the beauty of ManyChat, is that it's such a user-friendly platform, and it's easy to send broadcast on Messenger, broadcast SMS, and broadcast email. But the downside is when you are giving such power to either unethical marketers or just marketers, so to speak. It's, you know, it's very tempting to just blast away, and obviously, and that's why we had to experiment. You know, throwback from Facebook stopping all the broadcast and limiting all the things, and obviously you can't blast in Messenger or in SMS as you do with an email. It's not even a good idea on email, but it's even a worse idea on Messenger or SMS. And that's the downside of having such power in such user-friendly platform, is that the good thing is that the SMS are not free. So people think twice about it before doing that.
Sure. Yeah. And you know, not only marketers nowadays have to be aware of the terms of service, sort of like the rules of the game, if you will, right? In order to play not only in different mediums, but in different localities, right? So, and you know, in Europe, they have different levels of privacy, right? Now in different states here in the US, they're adopting, you know, some new privacy laws. So things like that, smart marketers need to be, you know, aware of, because it's not just about the mechanics, right? It's also, you know, compliance, right? One flag and you can lose, like you said, potential, $3 million in a year, in an hour type deal, right? It's
Yeah, and it's not just only about compliance. That's one thing, obviously very important, but it's also about the user experience. How boring or not a good experience when you receive at the same time with the same message, and this is important, on an email, in Messenger, on SMS, without segmentation, without taking into consideration what action the user took. If someone, for example, if someone joined a live by clicking on an email, what's the point of sending them an SMS saying, hey, we're live? There's no point. It's just boring. It's just, you will just get the user upset. Same thing if you send, hey, we're live in Messenger, no benefit if the person already clicked on join the live in an email, and vice versa. And that's the whole idea of omni-channel funnels. Omni-channel is not just blasting to more channels. That's the misconception of most marketers right now, is that, oh, omni-channel, that's great. Let's blast to everybody on more channels. That's a wrong perception. Omni-channel.
Go on, Philippe.
Sorry?
Yeah, go on.
Omnichannel is sending the right message at the right time in the right channel, and taking into consideration which channel is the preferred channel, which channel is the most used communication channel for this specific user. So if this one is using email, don't push the SMS, or don't push the message in Messenger.
So users experience and the copy within the bot, right? So we're using automated chat to humanize or to extend our message in a human manner, right? So using copy that's friendly, that it's somewhat humorous, right? Those sort of things, to keep people engaged.
Sure. I think one of the important things, Danny, when, as you know, we're at the conference last year doing the case study on the 2019 KBB, and ManyChat announced that they were launching the omni-channel with email and SMS directly within ManyChat, and it wasn't long. And I said to Philippe, oh my God, look at this. Because we pretty much knew that the amateurs were going to pretty much abuse what ManyChat had come out with in the wrong way. In other words, there would be, like a long form email in Messenger, and then, pretty much duplicating the content and sending it out in all three channels within a single flow all at the same time. So it's like, you're misunderstanding what omnichannel communication is all about. Again, Messenger is more of a conversational channel. You don't have like email length messages going out in ManyChat because it's annoying. Well, it is for me anyway, and I know it is for a lot of users of Messenger. You don't want to be reading, 10 paragraphs like you would do in an email. So I think, there's obviously a lot of good benefits by using an omni-channel approach if you do it the right way. And I want to point out, if you do it the right way. If you treat Messenger as it is a conversational channel, it's a conversation starter. But yes, it's also good for event reminders, training reminders. But what you've also got to take into account, and as you know that we do that with segmentation, is as Philippe rightly said, if somebody's already joined a live, it's like if somebody says to me, "What do you want for breakfast, David?" "Oh, I'll have egg and bacon, please." And then 2 seconds later, they ask the exact same question. I've already said, "I want egg and bacon, thanks." And then send me a text, "What do you want for breakfast?" I'm like, forget it. I'll go somewhere else, thanks. Because then you're annoying me, sure. And it's the same thing, Danny. It's, if somebody's taken the action, then why do you need to then repeat that and then repeat it in another if they're already on the live waiting, you're annoying them now. And that is again something that is part of what we do, that segmentation and what we call the intelligent routing system is part of, you know, if somebody clicks on a link in email, we add a tag and shut down the other channels because they've taken the action that we want them to take.
Sure.
Likewise, if they don't open an email, we add a tag and then, you know, a couple of minutes delay and boom, send the reminder in Messenger. And obviously mobile wallet. Well, the good thing is when you have all of those communication channels available to you and you do segmentation, what you're able to do is work out who prefers what channel and communicate with them in the channel where they're taking the action that you want them to take. Now, another good example of that was the close of KBB2, which was March the 10th of 2020.
Yeah.
We had already crashed and burned the Messenger channel. So Messenger was out of the equation. So we were left with email, SMS, and mobile wallet. So what happened is we got instructions from Dean's team, guys, we want you to send a push notification to wallet twice on the shutdown day that this is your last chance with a link to your last chance on the back of the pass.
Yeah.
So we did that. And I took, as you know, you're in the Platinum Group. I took a screenshot from ManyChat the night before shutdown and then the day of shutdown after we'd sent 2 push notifications on March 10th.
Yeah.
And we increased sales by $1.5 million.
Wow.
On one day. So we went from 4.5 to 4.5, I think it was 6. No, it was more than that because it was 6.7. So, you know, the increase in sales just from two pushes. Now, remember, we'd already shut down the Messenger channel. Yeah. So there was nothing coming from Messenger. So as we were in Zapier tallying up the sales and then matching them with the ManyChat users, 1.5 million came from the mobile wallet. Now, yes, they may have opened it from email, but they were also still in Messenger and mobile wallet. But, you know, the thing that we've learned both year 1 and year 2 of using KBB, and it's true for our business. And I think anybody that's using a similar strategy, they will understand that the more people, so if you have a potential customer that comes in and they just go into put in their email, they don't opt into Messenger, they don't download mobile wallet, they're not as qualified as the people that go the whole way. The ones that say, yes, I want reminding, I really want this. Yes, give me my mobile wallet event ticket because I don't want to miss this. 90% of people that purchased were in everything, email, mobile wallet, and Messenger. From the Messenger, people that were in ManyChat, 90% of them had also installed mobile wallet passes. So, you know, that for us, 2 years running, was saying these people that make the effort to go the whole 9 yards and get reminders and install the event ticket are highly qualified people. And we learned from that, as Philippe rightly said. We sent the Messenger reminders to those that had installed wallet first. We wanted to make sure that they did get the reminder, right? They weren't on the last 15-minute blast the crap out of this and crash and burn it.
Yeah.
They were what we considered to be highly qualified, which turned out to be right. And as I say, 90% of people that bought had everything in Messenger and mobile wallet.
Impressive. Those statistics are just, you know, staggering, you know, and they're worth, you know, sharing again. So first year, 2019, exceeded $3 million the first hour, and that was breaking PayPal twice, if I'm not mistaken, right? In that 1 hour, right? You guys broke PayPal
4 times, actually. 4 card have crashed.
So imagine that. So as first year with those hiccups, right? Obviously, you guys, you know, build, you know, safety nets and that sort of thing. to minimize those losses. But then year two, these guys call you back. They say, hey, we're not dumb. We're going to call the same guys that did, made these results for us for the second time. And you guys crush it for the second time. You duplicate what you're able to, so it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a phenomenon. Right. You guys, proved it. What is is there a part 3 to this saga? What can you share?
I think KBB3 would probably be, I would think, around March, April of next year. Yeah, there's obviously benefits to, huge benefits to using Messenger and mobile wallet. The question is, what are the Facebook rules going to be come this time next year? If if they're similar to they are now, then I don't see why not. But again, things are changing so much and so rapidly. Obviously everybody knows that it was a huge benefit. Everything that we put in place had a massive impact on the end result, which was, pretty much a 20% increase in overall sales. And when you think about an additional 6.7 and 6.5 million revenue, you're talking over 13 million over that 2 years. That's a lot of money, Danny. Right? Even for Tony Robbins, he may be a billionaire, but 13 million is certainly money that you're not going to put your nose up to. So yes, there may be a part 3. We'll have to wait and see until they decide to launch again.
And we'll keep our eyes right on that opportunity when it comes around. Before we close into what's next, because you guys are working on enhancing your training program. Let's talk a little bit about how you guys have been in the trenches lately, not just with the thing that you're putting together, but with the latest consumer demands and market demands with the whole pandemic crisis around the world. You have been providing smart solutions for brick and mortar businesses, not just this, big name, brands or coaches, but also for, your agency affiliates to, pound the marketplace with smart digital solutions that work for mom and pop shops. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Cool.
Yeah. So basically what we did during this pandemic is to bring a solution for small businesses, specifically for businesses that could do deliveries or pick up orders, like restaurants, for example, because obviously restaurants were shut down, and we had the market needed a solution where they could still consume the food from the restaurants, but without having to dine in. So we came up with this solution of creating a platform called ChatSheets, where you can create an entire pickup and delivery experience from within a very simple dashboard, where you add your pictures, you add your menu, your categories, your food, and then this populates. So it's directly connected to ManyChat, and this populates all the information that has been input in this content platform, and convert that into pretty much a menu and an ordering system, easy to navigate through in ManyChat. And then we have the ordering process, where it detects the location of the user, calculates automatically the shipping cost or the delivery cost, and we combine that with a system that allowed people to either use Messenger to order, or to use the website, or to use the Facebook page as an ordering system. So again, omni-channel ordering system for small businesses.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing how I've seen some people in the group being able to attach, you know, a loyalty build out to the new ordering systems, and really, you know, make things work and grow arms and tentacles, you know, not just for the flashy stuff, but actually providing, you know, some functionality that's relevant to today's needs, right? So making an order inside, you know, from your mobile phone by scanning a QR code or something like that, becomes now more relevant than it was 6 months ago, perhaps, because of, you know, you don't want to spread germs, and also a contactless way of making payments, right? Through different payment gateways, right? That becomes so much more valuable now because of the whole rhetoric out there.
Cool.
Yeah, and no matter what we think about this whole pandemic thing, whether it's you know, there's a lot of controversial ideas about all of this, but the reality is that the restaurant industry as we knew it, it's over. It will never be the same. So if those restaurants specifically don't change their business model, those who don't, they will die, guaranteed. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and it will be very soon. And some of them already disappeared. You know, just here in Bali, for example, we have 4 and 5 star hotels, like 1 month within the lockdown, who were for sale, like close to 200, like 175 4 and 5 star hotels on sale, for sale, 1 month after the lockdown. And I'm sure it's the same everywhere. Like Airbnb is on the verge of bankruptcy. Wow. You know, all those hospitality industries, if they don't make the pivot, they will not survive. So they have to adopt digital solutions, whether it's online menus, food and delivery. And I'm not talking about only relying on those big delivery platforms that are ripping those restaurants' margin off, like 35% commissions. I'm talking about having a proprietary system where they could control the delivery themselves. They don't have to pay a commission. So this is critical. This is absolutely critical for those restaurants to continue to survive and thrive in the future. And I'm not talking about this new normal. I don't like the word new normal. I don't like normal things anyway. But there's a new reality for sure that they will have to adapt to, or they will die.
Yeah. It's a new day, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about a new day. You guys are launching something July 1st, so just a few days from now. And let's talk a little bit about that, because what I've seen this past year behind the curtains of Platinum, it's going to be enhanced, basically. And it's only a few days until you have to pay more to get into this program. Tell us about the Omnichannel Funnels program that you guys are launching July 1st.
It's well, basically one of the things that I think is a big misconception out there is that, you know, creating funnels and you know, getting a template up and throwing, or, you know, sending traffic to it and woohoo, now we're making money, is a misconception. There's a lot more that goes into creating winning profitable funnels. You know, first and foremost, there's building the funnel itself. Then you have to have analytics. I mean, that is a given. Anybody that's not doing Facebook pixels and Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, so that they can track the customer journey from the day that that customer first comes into contact with your business and understand the customer journey. I mean, as you know, Danny, one of the most important things about any type of marketing is to understand the customer journey, understand their pain points, understand exactly where they are, stepping inside their shoes, feeling their pain, and then giving them the right route to solve that issue, to solve the problem. And you as a good marketer, or anyone as a good marketer, their job is to guide people like a Google Maps, turn left here, turn right there, go straight ahead. And then you get to your destination, which is the transformation of having your problem solved. So, everything that we have learned in our marketing experience, both Philippe and myself have been in marketing for combined over 50 years, showing our age, right? I've been in print publishing, so I've seen the transformation from offline, newspapers, printed media, going online. I was working with big 5-star brands such as Starwood when they first introduced their mobile wallet loyalty. And I knew at that particular point, because I had a publishing company, when the big brands turned around to me and said, David, we're shifting a lot of our money into online advertising, I knew that was a pivotal point for me in my business, that if I didn't focus my attention more online, I would lose out. I would end up being the guy that gets crushed by people that were becoming more focused on online. Yeah. So, that's when I made the shift to focus on things like mobile wallet, doing stuff online. And both, obviously, Philippe and myself, having worked together for the last 3.5 years, we've known each other for more than that, but actually directly working together. We've combined our experience of, Philippe's been working with, the likes of Carrefour's and the big brands, and I've worked with big brands as well. So we've combined our knowledge, and then obviously having worked for, Tony Dean and Russell, what we learned, what we saw in the background was attention to detail like we've never seen previously. And what that proved and demonstrated to us is that people that pay attention to the smallest details. I mean, some people would be, I'm okay with a 40% opt-in. No, they weren't. They wanted more, headline changes, color changes, the smallest things, yeah, to improve by 15%, where they ended up with an average 55% opt-in rate. And it was almost sort of like, wow, these guys are pros, right? Because they're continuously split testing, they're continuously changing stuff until they hit what it is that they want to get. That sweet spot. That, okay, 55% is, we're cool with that. And we've obviously looked at the background of how all of that was working, the input of Messenger and how people were reacting to stuff. So, after analyzing all of the data, what Philippe and myself have done is said, well, again, paying attention to numbers and mathematics, we said, well, you know what? 100% of people, so 450,000 people opt in for the KBB, but only 160,000 went into Messenger, right? Just over 35, it was 35% went into Messenger. And then we created the mobile wallet. So we were only creating the mobile wallet for 160,000 people. Okay. Well, after the fact, I said, well, Philippe, what if we actually create the mobile wallet upon opt-in? That would be 450,000 mobile wallet event tickets. We could then email to them. Yeah. And even if we get a 10% uptake in that, right? Yeah. Then we can also remind them in Facebook Messenger, hey, you haven't installed the mobile wallet yet. So the improvements that we have done from the KBB is take what was great and made it even better. Sure. So again, it's always about trying to increase those numbers, trying to increase, we've got 450,000 that opted in. Well, what if we can get 40% or 45% of those to then have mobile wallet? That's better than the 35% that just opted into Messenger. Sure. And the 90% that then went into mobile wallet. Sure. So again, attention to the details is so important, whether or not you're a beginner or whether or not you're, like a super advanced marketer that's doing big launches, big, you know, whether or not it's live webinars, product launches, or whatever. When you pay attention to the mathematics, when you pay attention to the numbers and the customer journey, and throughout your marketing are giving the right message at the right time in the right channel to move them from point A, being a stranger, to point B of being a paying customer. When you nail that, when you get that right, you are going to see a massive and significant increase in engagement, show ups, and ultimately sales and return on investment. And the omnichannel funnel formula, what we're basically doing on this training is deconstructing and reconstructing the entire KBB so that everyone knows, right, okay, so this is what we do for you. Build the actual sales funnel itself. Then we set up tracking. Then we set up Messenger. Then we set up the automation that again is the intelligent. If they open the email, shut down Messenger, shut down mobile wallet. If they don't, send them a Messenger reminder, send them a push. Setting all that up with Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, so that anyone that's doing any type of campaign can take a bird's eye view of exactly what's going on in their funnels. They know what's working, what's not working, where their leaks are. So if you're losing people at some point in your funnel, you will know exactly where that is happening. And what that enables you to do is, you know, as the saying goes, if you want to build something strong, build solid foundations when you start. Because when you build solid foundations, then as you grow, as you get things right, and don't get me wrong, what we're saying is when you build strong foundations, you're not always going to hit a home run every single time. As a matter of fact, it's probably 2 out of 10 funnels ever get a home run straight away. Even you know, Tony Russell and Dean were continuously changing headlines, continuously changing split test, until they got it right, until they were happy with where they were at. And you know, when you do that, but everything is built on solid, rock solid foundations, those small tweaks, those optimization tweaks that you make throughout the funnel, so that you're getting the numbers as high as you can possibly get them to get the best result that you can possibly get, then your funnel architecture, the way that you set things up, can sustain that, and you can send as much traffic to it as you want, and you know exactly where people are, you know, that entire journey. So I think the most important part is being able to, again, just have a bird's eye view of that entire customer journey, knowing what is working, what's not working, and obviously optimize where you're spending your time and your effort, because you don't want to spend the problem is with a lot of marketers is they're blind. They don't know, you know, they think, okay, I'm going to put up a funnel and I'm going to throw some traffic at it and see what happens. But the minute they start throwing traffic at it, they're blind, because they're not doing retargeting. They're not understanding that customer journey. So they don't know where people are falling. They go, oh, I'm getting a 30% opt-in rate, but then people aren't, they're not checking out. You know, they're not actually buying the product. You know, and they don't know what's going wrong. They don't know where to focus their attention to be able to improve things. Well, you know, the whole omnichannel funnel formula is about, you know, at its core, understanding your customer journey, understanding that what you build, being able to track that entire customer journey from day one, whether or not you're doing YouTube content, whether or not you're doing Facebook posts, blog content, podcasts, knowing where your traffic is coming from, but also knowing what is your number one piece of content. You know, if I asked the marketer, if I said, what's your number one piece of content? What's the piece of content that has driven the most amount of traffic and sales to your business? Most marketers would go, don't know, right? Yes, they could tell in Facebook ads, because Facebook ads will tell you the impressions, the the click-through rate. But ultimately, you know, especially when you're selling something that's medium to high ticket, the funnel is going to be longer because you're doing an indoctrination, you're warming people up to what it is that you're doing. So again, you know, that content journey, getting people through your funnel, getting them to like you, to trust you, to, you know, consume your content is all about understanding that customer journey, understanding their pain points and giving them the right content. So yeah, the omnichannel funnel formula is, we're both super excited about it because it's something that, you know, we've had the honor and the privilege of working with, you know, certainly Tony, Dean and Russell. Nobody can deny the fact that they're definitely in the top 10 of best marketers in the world right now, you know, and to sort of be behind the scenes with these guys, seeing exactly what they're doing and having our input. And then after the fact going, we can improve this, right? We can even take it one step further and improve what we did for, you know, Tony, Dean and Russell, and know that the foundations that we're working on right now has, you know, lightning struck twice, Danny. We 3 million 2019 and then bang again, same results, right. 2020. So that wasn't luck, as you said earlier, but that wasn't luck. That was a strategic way of, again, moving people through that KBB funnel and getting them to turn up for the live and ultimately buy the program. So yeah, we're super excited because it's what people are going to learn from the omnichannel funnel formula is a step-by-step guide to, number one, duplicate everything that we did for Tony, Dean and Russell, but then also then apply that to any other type of funnels, you know, the tracking, the intelligent routing, the multi-channel communication, be able to apply that to every aspect of their business so that they understand their customer journey even better than they do now. And I think that's the core of what we're excited about, is to teach people, you know, really step inside your customer's shoes. Yeah. Because when you can do that, you do two things. You build trust quicker, you build relationships quicker, and you know, you're really in touch with what your audience wants and needs, and provide the solution. Ultimately, that's what we're all in business for. Provide the right solution for that person for where they're at right now. So yeah, we're super excited, and that launches in 3 days from now.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and you know, it's exciting to know that you know, within this program, because it's not a course, it's a, you know, it's a program, right, where we're not only going to learn mechanics, but we're also going to learn how to properly use these powerful tools in a seamless way, right, that gives the customer, you know, the right experience. It gives us the right metrics and the skills to analyze and interpret, you know, a bunch of data that comes to us from different dashboards, right? And provide value to the brands that we work with. I'm really excited about that. And so I don't want to take any more time from you guys. For you guys that are watching, whether live or replay, if you want to type some questions, I'll get back to those after we finish this live. And if you guys are interested in this program, guys, I have a coupon code that is only good for the next 2 days if you are in Bali, but if you're in the other part of the world, it lasts 3 days. So take advantage of that. Hit me up. I'll provide that coupon code for you guys so you can save $2,000 basically. That's you know, a lot of value up front that these guys are providing, you know, to the entire community at large. These guys have spoken at the biggest chatbot marketing conference twice already, and possibly even a third time virtually. Now we have to do the virtual thing now, huh?
Yeah, it would be virtual. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to miss the experience that it is, you know, gathering with a bunch of like-minded people and chatbot experts, like, you know, like we did in Austin. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and I will catch you on the tech call in just a few hours.
Yeah, thank you, Danny.
Take care now. Bye-bye, Philippe.
Thank you, Danny. Bye-bye.
Bye.